Nathan Johnson is the Product Marketing Manager for Vision and Power Standings by InsideSales.com. His responsibilities center around helping sales reps understand how to use tools like email tracking to get better results from their sales motions. Nate has built and marketed enterprise-grade data management and analytics software since 2007, focusing heavily on designing systems to deliver simple solutions from complex data. Nate holds an MBA from Brigham Young University and currently resides in Provo, Utah.
Hi, my name is Nate Johnson. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Power Standings. That's our gamification platform here at InsideSales.com. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what gamification is, what Power Standings is, give you a little bit of a demonstration of how Power Standings works, and talk about how that can help you increase your sales numbers. To get started, let's talk a little bit about what gamification is. In the simplest terms, gamification is anywhere that you're applying game mechanics into real-world situations. One of the earliest places that we'll see game mechanics, and something that we're all familiar with, is airline frequent flyer programs. It's using the psychology of rewards and points to encourage people to perform a specific behavior, to fly on one given airline. In sales, we use a very similar thing with game mechanics. In Power Standings, there's points, there's achievements, there's badges, there's things that encourage people to do certain behaviors. When it comes to gamification and how that applies to sales reps, it helps to have a little bit of context. There's some things that I think we can all agree are generally true about most sales reps. Reps tend to be a competitive group. That's one of the things we like best about them. It's one of the things we look for when we hire sales reps, is a competitive streak to go out and to get and to win. One of the other things that is often true is they tend to be a bit coin operated, which isn't inherently a bad thing in and of itself. The reality is, though, that you cannot commission on every activity that you need a rep to do. Sometimes it's difficult to motivate when that's the biggest and the only lever that you can pull. And one of the other realities is that the job can quite simply be hard. If you're in an SDR or a business development role, sometimes it's difficult to have the motivation to keep dialing number after number, hour after hour, day after day, and keep the numbers high. When you're talking about applying gamification, what you're really talking about is applying intrinsic motivations. It's what things can you do that go beyond the money. It's the same kinds of things that keep people playing just one more game of GoldenEye on old Nintendo 64, even though they should have gone to bed hours before. It's what makes you download the latest app on your iPhone and feel this uncanny need to achieve yet another badge or unlock another level. It's the thing that makes you download Words with Friends and compete with your friends across the country for the highest score that you can get. It's the motivation that goes just a little bit beyond the things that we typically think of in a sales environment. So how does Power Standings reach out and grab a hold of these things? We've all heard the adage that you get what you measure. We've probably all heard it 1,000 times. Sometimes that you get only what you measure. This is the real key. This is the magic of what Power Standings is doing, what gamification is doing, is we're taking KPIs, the things that really matter, the things that drive towards success, the number of appointments set, the number of dials that a BDR was able to complete, and we tie those into the point system, into the gamification system. One of the other important things that we're doing is we're creating visibility around the successes that people are having by having leaderboards that show rankings, and by having an in-CRM standings bar that shows where reps are, how they're doing, how things are going. It makes the competition feel real. It connects reps. It gives them visibility into what they're doing and what it is they need to be doing to be successful in their jobs. There's also additional features in there like throwdowns. Throwdowns allow reps to wager points. Points which, it's worth noting, are oftentimes tied to real-world rewards like spiffs or PTO time, lunch with coworkers, things of that nature. They can actually wager points with one another, so those competitions become real and meaningful. For example, a rep might wager 50 points for the first person to set 3 appointments, or the rep who makes the most dials within an hour. Managers are also able to offer up challenges to their teams as well. So the first person to complete any given task around a certain KPI would be awarded additional points. And to give a better sense of what we're talking about, I think the best thing to do is to turn the mic over to one of our sales engineers, Corey Calder. He's going to walk us through some of the key features of Power Standings and give you an idea of what that looks like on the actual sales floor.
All right, so let's take a look inside our gamification platform. Now, everything that we do is inside of Salesforce. So any main object that we're in, it could be a lead, an account, a contact, everywhere you're going to be inside Salesforce, down here on the left side is going to be a Power Standings bar. Now, inside of here is going to be a lot of information that we're going to cover here today. So let's kind of point out a few things. Now, basically, you guys get to create KPIs, key performance indicators that we get to customize to basically choose what we want to motivate me as a rep to do more at. So for example, I've got dials on here. Now you'll see that there's a few columns up here at the top. One of those is rank, you, which is obviously me, and next. What this is alluding to is actually my rank against all of my colleagues, a part of my team. So if I click on dials, it actually is going to show me where I stack rank against everybody this month. So obviously, if I need to do a little bit more to beat Jacob, I might do 9 or 10 more calls, or maybe I'm at the end of the day, I'm more likely to do those calls to catch up to Jacob. So again, you get to customize these to exactly what you want. It may be talk time, it could be appointment sets, it could be revenue. You determine what success criteria that you want for your team. Now on top of that, you'll notice that next to my little picture here is points. So every time I do one of those KPIs, I get a point basically added to my number. Now what I get to do here is I actually get to issue a throwdown. Now throwdowns are basically where I get to wager my points. So we actually do spiffs here. So for example, if I get to the number one spot with my points, I might win a cruise or a Vespa or something that we're doing here. So I can actually wager these points and go in here and actually select against my team members that maybe I'm going to challenge Gary and Ian to this throwdown. Now inside of here, I get to choose that KPI. Again, things that we get to custom create and modify, but I'm going to choose dials here and I'm going to race them to 100 dials. So then I create my start time. They actually get this pop-up where they get to accept or decline. And one of the neat things that we do here is if I accept that, it actually goes out to the whole team that there's actually a throwdown happening between the team. Now, we also go into this other section here. You see these little notifications. This is also something where we get to see where we rank in terms of points against our team members. Now you also notice here is my profile. I can actually upload an actual picture, of course, and then also sound. And that will tie in a little bit later inside of our leaderboard, so we'll come back to that. Now on top of this, I get to see my achievements. These are the badges that we get to earn. This is what you get to create to basically tell me this is what I need to be or do to be successful in my position. So here I can actually see that maybe daily I need to hit 100 calls, but if I do more, I get to a certain level. And you guys get to create these to, again, build in the success of what I need to do. Now we also do what we call challenges. It's very similar to a throwdown where me as a manager, I can actually issue a challenge to my team and say the first, second, and third spots get so many points if we get to this. So for example, it's 20 opportunities. So if I get to 20 opportunities, at that point, I will actually get the number one spot and earn those points. So all this is visible and it's always real time. It's always there inside Salesforce. So wherever I go, wherever I'm looking, it's always going to be there. But we also do something a little bit different where we actually show a leaderboard, and we actually have these on TV screens across our whole organization. So a lot of what we want to do is make it very fun. An environment that they want to work in. So what we want to do is we allow them again to upload their images. So it could be a GIF, it could be something silly from the internet, but also we can do audio. So they can upload an audio message for their personality, AC/DC, things like that, so that when they get certain achievements that you see over here on the right, that will actually play. Or the throwdowns that we issue as well. So let's actually walk through a day in the life of our leaderboard. So what happens here is that we have our lead development team, and Mark Littlefield doesn't like to be in 5th spot. So he's going to do a couple more appointments to get to that top spot. Perfect. So we just saw an achievement. So Brent actually was a caffeinated caller, level 4, so he overachieved for his day. So a part of the system is to show those as they get those. Let's talk about daily dials here. Mark's a little bit lower than Brent, so he's going to do a couple more calls to beat out Brent. So Mark Littlefield is very competitive. He wants to get to that number one spot, but he wants to issue a throwdown to his colleague. Perfect. So that's the audio message that I was talking about. We want to make it fun. We want to have it a little bit more interactive, and that's exactly what our leaderboard's for. So not only is it through our power standings that we have, through the Salesforce objects as well, but also through the leaderboard. So that is our gamification platform.
Thank you very much, Corey. Before we wrap up here, I just want to make a couple more points and give a brief summary of some important ideas, some key points here. First thing I'd like to point out is Power Standings is about increasing performance. You know, there's features in here like the leaderboards that do more than simply encourage and motivate. Leaderboards, a lot of the managers who have implemented Power Standings tell us that the leaderboards give them a window into their sales floor that they didn't have before. They'll pull up the leaderboard in a web browser, they'll go out of their office and take a look at it, and it gives them insight into what's happening on their sales floor that they didn't have before. Where they used to wander around and try to get a vibe and see kind of what was happening on any given day. This helps them understand where their sales team is, and they can issue challenges, they can provide other forms of motivation, they can do the things that managers do to help their reps succeed and to achieve and to sell. When you combine that with the on-screen visibility that's persistent throughout the product, the achievements that are showcased, not just on the leaderboards, but individually on each individual rep scorecard, neural notifications, which we really didn't have time to cover today in the demo, that use an assessment when they first sign into Power Standings and gives them the kind of motivation and the notifications about where they are and how they're doing against the KPIs that matter most. Neural notifications, perhaps the easiest way to think of it is it gives the carrot or the stick depending on what motivates that particular rep. Is it smack talk? Is it something far more gentle? What is it that works for that rep that gets them going? In the persistent on-screen standings bar, the things that show the KPIs, the things that they're tracking towards and performing towards. When you package that together with leaderboards, challenges, throwdowns, all these things, you get a powerful set of motivational tools that really helps keep people on track, helps you manage to the KPIs that matter most, that help you sell more ultimately. That is our presentation for gamification today. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found it informative. We hope that you'll visit us at our virtual booth and schedule a demo there. Thank you so much. Have a great day.